John Panichella, and welcome to I Eat Vibes for Breakfast.
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm so
Of,
excited.
of course, thank you so much for coming on. We have worked together because you work in PR, so I am so
Yes.
excited for our conversation. This is like the most that we've really met. We never met in person, so this is
I know it's kind of crazy, and that's why I was so excited about this. I was like, wait, this is such a cool concept, and I loved working with you, and I was like, it would be so cool to be a part of your show.
well, awesome. I'm glad that you're excited because I'm super excited. So, as you may know, which you definitely know because I told you on our call, we start every episode with a tea of the day, both a literal tea and a figurative tea. So, I am going to start with the actual literal tea because that's what I do.
Let's do
And
it.
today, my mom brought me this tea. I forget where she got it. I feel like it was somewhere bougie, but I forgot. It looks fairly bougie to be
Okay.
honest. Steepology teas, expertly curated. I don't even know how to say this. Rooibos. That's too much. Name of
Oh,
tea. Oh, on the back they've wrote it in Sharpie. Chocolatey mint. So
perfect. I
yeah,
love that.
they translated for me. I've never had a chocolate mint tea.
Yeah, I've never heard of that before. That sounds really good though.
Neither. I'm pumped. It's loose tea, which honestly, I don't drink a lot of loose tea because I think I'm doing something fundamentally wrong. Like it just ends up in the, I
Same.
don't think it's supposed to end up in the water. Like I don't
No,
think,
I'm not good with loose tea. I don't understand
no.
it. So
I'm
more power to you.
it turns into like a salad in a cup. And
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if this is correct, but yummy.
okay, that is pretty good. It like smells like a little bit stronger than it tastes, which is cool. Preferred. Are you
Love
drinking?
that.
Are you sipping on anything?
I have my tea right here.
What you got
So I
today?
don't have the box with me, but this is a client sent this to me, and it just
Oh,
says citrus exotic, and
oh,
it says it's a black tea with pineapple and dragon fruit.
honestly, I want to
Um,
trade.
so let's see how it is. It looks really good. It is not loose tea, so I know that I did it right. But I didn't have
Amazing.
honey today, and I like to put honey in
Mm,
my tea all the time, and I just
okay.
didn't have any. So we'll see.
Well, it sounds delicious. I love pineapple.
Oh, that's really good, actually.
Okay, I'm gonna have to get that.
I I was like, I'm sorry that my tea is probably better than yours.
Came up on my show upstage.
I'm so sorry. I didn't try this now.
Oh, I'm playing. I painted this little mug, so don't worry. I'm okay. I'm okay.
Okay, so your mug beats mine because this is my roommate's mug,
I
so I
sharing
just
is
took it
caring.
from him.
Sharing is caring. Yeah, I painted this.
Exactly.
And okay, so I put a pun on the inside, and the lady at the store like saw me do this and everything. And so I put like, oh no, I'm empty, like dash like tea. It
Cool.
was so cute. And then she calls me and she's like, oh, you couldn't like you had to paint like the whole inside a solid color. So I like painted over everything. And I was like, oh dang. I was like, would you be able to write like, oh no, it's empty at the bottom?
Hmm.
And she was like,
I can.
no. And I was like, okay. And she was like, I'll do it. And she just wrote empty. Like it literally just says empty at the bottom of my
Oh, I mean, I kind of love that.
she did me a little dirty. But it's okay.
I'm like,
The
why?
sentiment's there.
She was spilling the tea. She was being a little shady that day.
She honestly was being shady and it makes me laugh. So it's okay. It worked out because I have a story, but also
Exactly. It's all for the men's. All for the men's.
I hope she burned her tongue on her tea today because it was a funny pun.
Same.
She didn't have to do me
Yeah,
like
I
that.
I kind of love the pun.
Thank
It just
you.
means you have to do it again.
I know. I was trying. If I had a kiln, I could repaint it, but
And
I don't have a kiln.
I don't even know where you would get one of those,
I
unfortunately.
I have an oven.
I don't think it'll get hot enough, but
Worth the shot. Oh my
you can
goodness.
try it. A little DIY.
So I have some piping hot tea today. I think the talk
I
of
want to hear.
Twitter is the whole Sydney. Have you seen the Sydney Sweeney Glenn Powell videos?
I have not, but let me look them up right
You
now.
should, yeah. If you want, like, basically they're starring in a movie together, and all like the behind the scenes videos, they just look like in love, and all the interviews, like he had some quote where he was like, "Oh, I love when she calls me Top Gun." Like it's,
Oh my gosh, I'm
and
looking at this now.
so she's
Okay.
engaged, and he has a girlfriend or had a girlfriend because all of this started going on like a week ago, and now they've like broken up, and she's unfollowed them both. So the tea's a little hot.
Okay, I'm reading this now. What are your thoughts on this? Because I feel like I have such industry thoughts on this that I
Well,
want to
that's
hear
what
your
I
thoughts first.
wanted. That's what I wanted from you because I was like, I feel like it's definitely some solid PR. What is your opinion?
This looks like a great PR stunt to promote what they're working on. I literally typed them into Google and Daily Mail, Page Six, People, New York Post, Vox, Vulture, every magazine that you want to be on
I
is
know.
writing about this right now. Um, and I see so much of this. I've been a part of similar kind of PR things, and it just works. And I always feel like the evil villain, like saying this to people because like I don't want to ruin anyone's like drama that they're enjoying, but like this screams PR. This screams like write about us and watch our movie. And kudos to them because as a publicist, I love this and I think that it's working.
Phenomenal. That's what I thought you were gonna say. Because I'm
I
just
feel
like
so bad. I'm like
an evil villain. That's honestly amazing that you said that.
that's how I feel all the time to like my friends and family outside of the industry. Like, oh my God, did you see this? And I'm like, yeah, their publicist set that up. But sure, like if that's what's getting me through the day. So sometimes I'll like pretend that I don't know anything. I'm like, oh my God, that is crazy. Like,
That is just wild.
wow, so
Gotta let the
wild.
illusion exist for them.
I know. I'm so jaded by the industry. I've been doing it for
Yeah.
so long that I'm just like fake, fake, real fake. And everyone's
No,
like, can you
literally me.
not kill our dreams? Like, can you just let us enjoy entertainment?
Honestly, I can't either. I'm always the one to be like,
No. I mean, you've been doing this for so long too. So it's kind of just like at this point, we're just like, I'm over it.
yeah,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
like,
If
the
I know
album's
the truth,
coming.
everyone around me, yeah, exactly. If I have to know the truth and I can't have fun with it, no one in my life gets to have fun with it. We're all in this together.
Exactly. The tea is fun, but
And that's the
unfortunately it's
tea,
fake. Yeah, exactly. The tea is fake,
literally.
unfortunately.
Yeah. That's
It
how this industry thrives and it works.
it absolutely does. Literally all they had to do was just like take some cute little videos together and then
Yeah.
have his girlfriend unfollow Sydney Sweeney and it's
Yeah.
Chef's kiss.
It literally does. Yeah. It's amazing. I'm looking at these articles and I'm like, wow, great job. Who is
Yeah.
their publicist? Like that's what I'm looking at.
Honestly. I honestly was seeing like a few months ago on Twitter, people were like, bring back like real rom-coms where there's like cheating allegations. And then this happened. And I was like, their publicist was on Twitter. They saw what
They
I
were on the
saw.
trends. They
They,
saw the trends and they executed and they did it
yeah.
well. Like good for
Plus,
them.
like everyone's comparing Sydney Sweeney to like her character in Euphoria. They're like, she took it too serious. And I'm like, man, they have you guys
No,
wrapped up.
they have you. And okay, I won't ruin it like completely because I do think that there is obviously like some sort of chemistry when you're working on a project together. I think
Absolutely.
what happens is good publicists and actors and entertainers know how to optimize that chemistry and
Mhm.
sell a product. And that's part of the business. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't want it to be like, oh, you think it's all fake. I don't think it's fake. I think it's doing exactly what it's meant to do. And like, this is functioning by design. Like,
Yeah.
there's chemistry. We can sell this chemistry to make people more invested in what we're doing.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, it's still entertainment. So maybe it's fake, but
Yeah,
so is TV and people are clicking, they're
exactly.
buying, they're entertained. I mean, I went down the Twitter hole because I was looking for my tea of the day and I was deep in
Yeah.
there. I have to set social media
Yeah.
timers.
Do you? I probably should do that eventually, but I just let myself get lost and it's so
Oh,
bad.
I just like it. You can once it like the timer goes up, it'll be like, oh, like ignore timer for like 1 more minute or 15 more minutes. And I every time I click 15, I'm
What
like,
do you click? I was gonna say you
yeah,
click
I'm
the
like, I
15.
failed. Sometimes I'll do a minute and I'm like, oh, okay, like, because then if it comes up
Yeah.
again, I feel bad about myself. I'm like, all right, like,
You just like
let
keep
it
snoozing your
go.
alarm about
No,
social media.
literally, it's so bad.
It's
I actually,
addicting. You get caught up in it.
it really is. And that's actually a topic that we're going to cover. So I guess we could
I
hop
know,
into
I'm
that
excited.
topic
Yeah,
because,
let's do it.
yeah, so you work in PR and I work in music. So social media is just a part of our jobs, our daily lives. Exactly. So
I
how
did the deep sigh. I literally had to sigh just hearing that. I'm like, I can't.
I feel that. I feel that. If I ever didn't do music, I would be off social media so quick. I would
Me
literally like
too.
be a hermit. I don't know.
Same. Yeah, that's how I feel too.
How do you have like how do you attempt to keep a healthy relationship with social media?
It's so challenging because it's ever changing. Like social media is always changing. So I feel like sometimes I will find a balance and then have to rebalance a month later because of either a new app or a new trend or a new algorithm.
True.
And it's like you said, like having to work in not having to work, working in PR.
Getting to.
I'm yeah, getting to. I love what I do, everyone. But getting to work in PR, like we have to follow the algorithm. We have to know the trends so we can inform our clients like about the most current trends and what how much you should be posting and when you should be posting. So for me, I really try to be on social media as little as I can in my personal life.
Mhm.
But I also don't love that. Like I want to be able to share pictures of me hanging out with my friends, and I want like to have my friends involved in my life. But I think for now, I've just like last year I decided I would post once a month. And that
Okay.
was kind of how I balanced it out. So at the end of every month, I posted one monthly recap. It was like a
Oh, that's
10
cool.
image slideshow. And
Yeah.
it was just like January 2022, February 2022. And like that was really fun. I enjoyed doing that. Um, and now I kind of want to post more again. And
Mhm.
so it is just about finding that balance. I think what I like to do is I tend to wake up and probably the same as you, I check social media, go through
Yep.
my trends for the day, take note of it, and then I really dive into my workday that doesn't involve social media. So I'm on meetings, I am sending out press releases, chatting with my team, like going over scheduling. And then at the end of my workday, I will check again for trends. And I will always just put that in the back of my mind for tomorrow, and then I kind of switch to personal social media for a little bit throughout the day. And I'll do whatever I want to do on my Instagram or TikTok. And then I put my phone in do not disturb. And
Mm,
usually, like, you
okay.
cannot get a hold of me. I do not go on social media. My friends and family hate it because I never answer. And I'm just like, I am so sorry. But when I have to stare at a screen for like 10 hours a day, when I'm done, I'm done. I'm putting the phone down and it is what it is. Like, you
Yeah.
can get a hold of me when you can get a hold of me. I even tell clients, like, this is entertainment PR. This is not like medical legal PR. It can wait. You can get on Tiger Beat magazine tomorrow. It doesn't need to happen at 10 p.m. at night. I promise you.
Absolutely. You
So
gotta
I
have
think
business.
having those boundaries is like, yeah, those boundaries have been super helpful. And something that I just started implementing within the past 2 years. Before that, I was no balance. It was literally social media 24/7. I wanted to post every single day. I wanted to be on my phone. It just was unhealthy.
Yeah, I feel like setting boundaries with yourself and other people is definitely the key. It can be hard to honor those boundaries, but that's definitely something I've also started implementing recently because I do music. I also have a day job that's on the computer. So I feel that like once the
Hmm.
day's over,
Yeah,
screens, like your eyes hurt also. Headaches. I don't know
it's
about you, but I
terrible.
get mad
All the
headaches.
time.
Eye strain for
All the time.
yeah. My eye doctor, every time she asks me about like screen time, so mad. And she's like, do you do like, you're supposed to look away like for 20 feet for like 20 seconds every
You
20
are?
minutes. Yeah. Okay. So she explained it to me 20, 20, 20. So every 20 minutes, you look 20 feet away for 20 seconds. And it's supposed to like relax your eyes if you look at screens all the time.
Interesting.
So that's one little tip.
I'll try it. I'm
I
like, I
don't
don't know if I
remember.
have 20 seconds every 20 minutes to like remember to do that, to be honest.
Maybe
I'm
every
like,
2 hours.
yeah, I'm like that sounds like a luxury if I could look away every 20 minutes. I don't know if that's
For
possible.
20 seconds, literally.
I currently right now have like this monitor in front of me. I have a laptop over here open, and then I have an iPad over here open. I'm just like surrounded by blue light at all times.
That's literally me. I was working today. I have my iMac, I have my MacBook, and then I have my HP computer because that's what's my day job. It's like programming kind of stuff.
Oh my
So it's
God, I use an HP
HP.
for my day job too.
Oh my, that makes it's they I don't like them.
I hate it. It's the
I'm a
worst computer I've
Mac
ever used in my
girl.
live.
It literally
Same.
buffers
I'm
quickly.
the biggest Apple fanboy in the world. Like everything I have is Apple, and then I have this one HP Elite book, and I'm like, I don't want this.
No, literally, I look at it and I'm like, mm, no. I
Yeah,
don't want to deal with it. Like opening my email shouldn't take that long. Like I get like it's super
my
painful
email doesn't even
looking.
load half the time. Like I
No,
have to manually hit
literally.
send receive, and I'm just like, I can't. This isn't working.
I feel like it's a dinosaur. Absolutely. I've
It
actually
is.
I've started doing one thing for social media. I started this when it was like the week of Easter, so like the Holy Week.
Hmm.
I'm very religious, so I took that whole weekend, so like 4 days, just away from social media. So that's when I put the timers on my
Nice.
phone because I set it to like 2 minutes, so I wouldn't
Hmm.
look. And so now
That's
I
cool.
started doing like every Sunday. I kind of like take a little fast.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so I have like a Sunday just like without social media, and it's been really, really nice actually.
I love that. I definitely go through phases where I do kind of that same schedule or just like not be on social media one day of the week. I'm also like I used to be someone who would take pictures just for Instagram
Mm,
and never for anything else. And now I'm the opposite. Like my roll is full of thousands of photos that the world will never see. But
yes,
I just want to have them for like my own memories and my friends and we can laugh about them. And so I'm like, all right, there has to be a good in between where I can still post on social media because as frustrating as it is, like I still have to uphold some sort of brand on there.
absolutely.
Um, and still just not have to like focus on it so much. So I'm like, let me take 100 pictures every hour when I'm out with friends, and maybe one of those can make it to social media.
Exactly. Yeah. And I feel like I actually did the same exact thing. I used to just take like aesthetic pictures. And then I was like thinking back to events that I went to or times that I had, and I had like no pictures or videos of like the actual
Yeah,
event, which is fine because I was living it, but I also want to look back at it. So now I have the same thing. I just have so many like random little pictures.
yeah, that's how I am, and I'm happy I have the pictures now. So I'm glad that I started doing
Yeah, me too. Social media used to be like pretty toxic for me, I would say, because like I
that.
would be
Hmm.
very much like comparing my own like my journey all the time. But I've done
Yeah,
so much self-work since then, and now I really don't feel like honestly like an ounce of like comparison or competition because I've really found comfort in like my plan is my plan and like nothing's really can stop like my own path. Like someone else's success isn't going to stop my success. Like it's
exactly.
not mutually exclusive. Like God
Yeah,
didn't
I don't
say
believe in like yeah.
yeah, God didn't say like he had plans to prosper me unless somebody else got successful.
Exactly. I just don't think that like I just don't think anyone can block my blessings. So I just kind of like
Exactly.
just
Yes.
want to do what I'm going to do. I know that my journey is going to unfold the way that it's meant to unfold, regardless of like
Amen.
what so and so posts. And so
Yes.
my relationship with social media is much healthier. That's why I don't
Same.
mind going on it anymore.
Mhm.
I just am so tired, like from work, that I don't want to go on it. But
Yeah.
I do think there was a time where I had such an unhealthy relationship with it, where like I wanted to check my like count, and if I didn't hit a
Ugh,
certain amount, I would delete the post. And like if it
me.
didn't fit my aesthetic, I would redo it. And like I would edit pictures to look perfect. And it's like
Yeah.
that's not a real thing. That doesn't make sense. And now I'm just like, I just want to post a picture of like this tree that I think is cool, and I don't care how many
Yes.
likes it gets. I want you to go on my Instagram and get a sense of who I am as a person. That's what I want. And if I
Facts.
have one follower and one like, I don't really care because it's going to be my page at this point.
Hey, amen. I agree. And I feel like I'm in the same place. And it's very
I
relieving.
love that.
It was such
It's
a
so
burden.
relieving and it's such a good place to be in because I think these tools are great. Like they're really
Are.
amazing tools to utilize, but society got so caught up in this like perfection, this
Oh
idea of
yeah.
perfection, and that everything had to look better than the last photo. And if it didn't get more likes than the last one, or if your friend was getting more likes, like if your followers weren't growing, and especially in this industry, I can't tell you how many times I've just found myself in the wrong circle of people where it's like, oh, like we just hit 1 million followers. Like it only took us a month to do that. You didn't do that. And I'm just like, who cares? Like,
That's so
who really
lame.
cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather have less followers than be like unenjoyable to be around as a person.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, okay, like you're fine on social media, but in real life, you're terrible. Like, I don't want to be
Yeah,
around you. Like,
literally.
so go home and post a photo if that's really what you want to do.
That seems to be where you thrive. So,
Yeah, I'm like, you thrive on there. Like,
yeah.
I'm in real life having a good time, being present, and that is a peeve of mine is hanging out with friends and all that. Like, if people all they want to talk about is social media, it's so draining to me.
It really
And
is.
again,
Yeah.
I'm sure you feel the same, but like we do it so much in our careers that it's like I don't want to talk about it right now. Like I'm not in my work hours. I'm hanging out with friends. The last thing I want to do is talk about a social media post or like how your TikTok is doing or like and not even like a rude way. I'm very happy that you're doing well. That's wonderful.
Yes.
But like we don't need to spend our night talking about TikTok.
No, yeah, I definitely agree. I'm like literally anything but, and I like it. I think it's a great tool. I like it. I just don't want
Hmm.
to talk about it.
Yeah, Sam,
And like,
there's other things that I'd rather talk about. Like my life is not just about social media.
yeah, like, oh, got these views today.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, hooray, amazing. What are we eating tonight? What are we ordering for
Yeah.
food? Like,
Yes. Do you see that true crime documentary? Like, let's get down
exactly. Oh, I
into it.
love a good true crime documentary.
Me
That's all I
too.
watch is that, and I love watching like horror movies.
I'm not a big horror movie person, which is so weird because I love true crime. I listen to the podcast all the time. I watch
Yeah.
documentaries. Like that's where I'm at 24/7.
I mean, I love it all. I used to hate horror movies. I say horror because I'm from New Jersey and everyone
That's
makes fun
funny.
of me. So I'm like trying so hard to say horror.
You don't have to. You
But
can be
I
yourself.
my horror movies, yeah. So I love watching a good
I
horror
like
movie
that. Hava.
every night before bed, and people think it's the weirdest thing about me, but every single night before bed, I'll throw one on and I just like peacefully fall asleep to like vampires attacking the city, or like I've been watching Hereditary. Like it's so
Oof,
ridiculous.
that's hilarious. I fall asleep to like Love Island.
I mean, reality TV is my second favorite thing to binge, so
Okay, we
it's
yeah,
like
we have the same interests.
yeah, I'm like it's for me, it's horror movies, true crime, and reality TV. Like that's what I watch all the time.
Literally me, literally me. And my
It's so
fiance
good.
likes reality TV too. It's like our little guilty pleasure. And so I
Oh,
love it
it's
because I'm
just
like,
so good.
it
It's so
is.
good.
I feel like people take it too seriously. Like when they like crap on reality TV, I'm like, you're not getting it. It's like
You're not
the
understanding.
people aren't they're likable, but they're not likable. And that's kind of like the
Exactly.
point.
My like dream is to be on a reality TV show at
I
some point
would
in my
love
life. I just like understand how fate not understand how influenced it all is. Um and I'm okay with it. So I think that I would thrive in a setting like that. Like
I
I
think you
wouldn't be like
would.
shocked by anything. I really wanted to do The Circle. I don't know if you ever saw
I
that
have
on
watched that.
Netflix.
You would kill it.
I
Yes.
really think that I would, and I went through casting for it, and I was literally in like one of the final rounds for it, and then they were like, "Oh, like by the way, we film in London," and I was just like, "I can't do that right now. I'm working three
Yeah.
jobs. Like I thought I could just like quickly film this in LA or something," and so I ended up not going through with that. But I think it'd be so fun to do something like
Yeah, it definitely would. Maybe they'll have like an LA based filming one
that. I
time.
know
They'll call
that would be
you.
really fun.
Yeah.
I would love that. I've tried so many times. I was once in my friend and I were both in the finals for this reality show that one of the networks was going to do about PR. And they wanted to have an East Coast publicist and a West Coast publicist. And
Oh
it ended up
wow.
being my friend on the East Coast and then me. And like we were talking about like the plot and how all of it would work. And then the show just got scrapped last minute. And I was so disappointed.
That is disappointing. Ah, well, it'll
But
happen
I'm
for you.
like,
I'm putting it out
that's
there.
what I'm saying. If it's meant to happen, it'll happen.
Nothing
I'm
can
not like
block your
worried about it.
blessings.
Exactly. I'm like, it's been close a few times, and if it's meant to happen, it'll be, and if not, I'll just watch it. It's still
Yes.
great.
Yes, still loving it. So how did
Exactly.
you, sorry, how did
Oh, you're
you
good.
get into PR? What got you started?
So I was a weird kid growing up, and I loved like poetry and writing and like musical theater and like all of that stuff. That kind of took me out of my shell. I used to be a really shy kid. And I remember in like second grade, I did the school musical. And then from second grade to eighth grade, I was in it every year and I always wanted to be the best that I could be. And like that really got me out of my shell. And from there, I started to love music and writing. Um, and then I also watched The Hills. And The
Okay.
Hills made me love pop culture, the idea of like being a publicist, like being Kelly Catrone and like working in that field. Um, and so I began writing for just a random like teen website
Okay.
that would take submissions. And so I wrote movie reviews for them and I was writing them. And then I started writing magazines that I would write with my friends, literally on computer paper. And we would like set up a stand in front of my house and try to sell them.
I love it.
Um, and so that's where my love for like writing and blending pop culture and music came. And then I started an entertainment news blog when I was 15 years old. And when I was 16, I grew it to 1 million readers a month. And
Okay.
this was like before Instagram, this was before like there was MySpace, but like I wasn't able to build a social media presence for myself, but I had this platform where every month I had 1 million people coming to my website.
Wow.
And
Pop
so
off.
it was crazy. And I was just in like high school at this point and just like at a I went to a Catholic high school in New Jersey, and like I just did normal schooling, wasn't homeschooled or anything, and I would just like write my blogs in between classes and like write my posts, and I would go home. And then I started doing interviews, and I just started reaching out to celebrities and being like, "Hey, I would love to interview for my blog." My first one ever was with Brittany Flickinger, and she won Paris Hilton's My New BFF on MTV. Um,
Amazing.
And so when I did that, she posted it on her MySpace, and that kind of helped blow my site up. And so I started interviewing like contestants from Making the Band, from like Rob Dyrdek's Fantasy Factory, like a lot of work with MTV because of that interview.
That's awesome.
And that led to me interviewing like the cast of Degrassi and just growing out this whole platform. Um, and then I went to college for one semester. I decided it wasn't for me,
Hmm.
and so at this point, I had a blog running for like 4 years. I had monetized it. I felt confident in what I was doing, and so I dropped out of college and moved to LA with my best friend, who is a singer that I manage. Um, and we just kind of hit the ground running here. And within like 6 months, J14 magazine found my blog and asked if I wanted to be their West Coast reporter for the magazine. And so I started working at that magazine. I was doing all of the interviews for the West Coast. Um, and also at that time, everything kind of fell into place like very beautifully. My one cousin started modeling and acting, and then my other cousin went into the NFL,
Oh,
and they
wow.
both needed publicists at the time. And I was
Amazing.
managing this artist, so I knew how to work like the editorial side of things. I was writing for a magazine, so I was like, all right, these are my three clients that I'm working with. So I started working with my best friend, my two cousins, pitching them out. And as I realized I loved doing PR more, I was able to get clients that I would meet through J14 who also needed publicists. And so I started doing PR that way. And then eventually J14 sold the company. They let all the staff go. And at that point, I decided to do PR full time. And that was probably like 6 years ago.
Okay.
But up until then, I had been doing PR for a handful of clients and kind of just really putting the feelers out there. I knew all the editors because I worked on the editorial side. So it made it super easy to like contact different reporters and journalists. Um, and finding clients was easy. I was always at kind of networking events with a bunch of different influencers and artists and actors, and I kind of just grew my firm from there.
That's amazing. I love it. I feel like it all like flowed into each other so well.
It's weird, but it's like you said, you can't block blessings. What's meant for you will be. Like I did nothing other than follow something I was passionate about.
I
Everything else
love
fell
it.
into place.
That's amazing. I love to hear that. I feel like that's such like a testament of just kind of like following the steps in front of you and like just like trusting
Yeah,
your passion. That's beautiful. That's amazing.
exactly.
One second. I was reading the
Amazing.
questions. Let me write
I
down that
have them up on the
timestamp.
side over here too.
Oh, that's amazing. We're both doing the same. Okay,
Listen,
let
we're
me see.
prepared.
Yeah, yes, we are. So you have worked with artists, you've worked with, as you said, NFL players. So when do you feel like an artist should bring on PR and what are the biggest benefits?
I think there's two answers to this. I think the first answer is for
Mm.
an indie artist who is really trying to get their music out there. They should bring on a publicist when they have something that they are proud of that they want to share with the world in a bigger capacity than they feel they can do on their own. So if that's a single, an EP, an album, a music video, all of those are great times to bring on a publicist. However, there is a little asterisk there. You should only do that if you are confident that your budget permits that.
Hmm.
I think that a lot of the time people are like, you have to have a publicist if you want to put out a song. Like, if you want it to do well, you have to hire a publicist. And that's just not true. And I'm saying that as a publicist who obviously wants to get more clients, but it's just not true. Like, I want to work with people that are comfortable in their budgets, that know that PR is a gamble. Like, you are hiring someone to do everything that they can, that I can do to get your music in front of the right people, and then hope that they cover it.
Hmm.
There's nothing beyond that that a publicist can do. And that's why I always say, like, if your budget permits and you're not going to miss spending the money on the campaign, go for it. Because yes, you probably will be seen by more editors. You probably will get some press coverage. But the reality of it is your streams are not going to blow up because you've hired a publicist. Like, the PR connection to your streams is almost like not related.
Hmm.
PR is for your brand. That's when you want to make sure that your image is getting out there. People are hearing your music and knowing who you are, and that those two things are connected. Um, you're getting to tell your story in your own voice. That's another way, like, that's another benefit of PR. I think getting your music heard by editors, whether or not they pick it up, is also a huge benefit because they can then reach back out and be like, hey, like, you pitched so and so a few months ago. What are they working on now? So
Hmm.
PR is really for building relationships, telling your story in your voice, and controlling that narrative. and exposing yourself to a wider audience to recognize your brand. If you want to hire a publicist because you want to get a million streams on a song, you're better off spending that money on marketing, to be honest, because those are kind of different things. You can run Facebook ads, Spotify ads, you can hire someone to do playlist marketing for you. That will affect your streams and that will affect the amount that your music is heard.
Okay.
But PR is to really get your brand, your image, and your story out there.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you for clearing that up. That's very just makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I think that it's important for people to know exactly like what they're getting into.
Yeah, no, that definitely I feel like when I first started getting into PR, because I've been doing music for a long time, so I've definitely learned
Yeah.
things the hard way for sure. So I feel like that was one thing I definitely realized was like it's more about just the brand and the narrative. And how do
Hmm.
you think is like the most effective way for artists to really get their narrative out there and solidified?
I think that that can vary from artist to artist. And the one thing that I really try to do with my firm is tailor a campaign and the story really specifically to each client. I think sometimes some bigger firms or I mean, once you have hundreds of clients, it's just hard to really tailor things personally, and that's okay.
Right.
But I think that sometimes people want to do a copy and paste format, and I just don't know if that works. I think that the best way is to sit down with your publicist, talk about your release, like I'm working on a campaign right now that's a very like lyrical release with this artist, and it's the lyrics are beautiful, it's almost poetic, like it's super visual, and it almost feels like a journal entry. So we are now talking about creating a campaign where for the premiere she's going to write a journal entry for a magazine,
Oh, that's
and tell her
cool.
story about creating the song, what it means to her, as if she were writing a journal. And so I think the most effective way is truly to just be yourself. And I know people hear that and they're like, oh my God, that's so gimmicky. It doesn't have to be gimmicky if you can think of ways to make that cool and to just
Hmm.
really get what that means. It doesn't mean to just be like, I'm me. Like, no, this is what you want to get across. How can you do that in a cool way that
Yeah.
maybe hasn't been done before or is maybe just it resonates with you? If it has been done before, but it resonates with you, do that still. Like you have
Mhm.
to just decide what works for you. I think interviews are a great way to do that. I think guest blogs are a great way to do that. Like I do a lot of blog posts where my clients will write features about like their pre-show warm-up. And I think that's a really fun way for like fans and listeners to get an understanding of who you are beyond the simple of like, what does this song mean to you? How
Mhm.
was
Yeah.
it recording this song? Like I think letting them into your world as much as you can, as in a safe way is the best way to kind of tell your story.
That makes sense. And you mentioned the word gimmicky, and I definitely am very curious to hear kind of how is the best way to avoid the content feeling gimmicky both for the artist and the audience?
That's a really good question. It's tough to have an answer to that because I
Mhm.
feel like I see such gimmicky content that is still
Mhm.
blowing up and going viral.
That's
And
true.
so I'm like, if it works, maybe gimmicky is the way. And like sometimes I find that like content that we think is cringe is going viral. And
True.
maybe that's worth a shot. But I do think it's cool to I think if you can find your niche and you know that you're good at food related TikToks
Yeah.
and you post food content every day, no matter how cringe it is or whatever you're doing, it won't be gimmicky because your followers will know that this is something you're passionate about.
Right.
So if you're a producer and every day you're posting a beat and it could be country and pop and you could be switching up your sounds and trying different beats and like trying different angles and maybe one's really cringy and one's really cool and you're just seeing what works, as long as you're staying true to what you're passionate about, I think that you're avoiding the actual gimmick of it all. I think
Mhm.
it's when you're someone who's like, oh my God, I saw this trend, I'm gonna do that. I saw this trend, I'm gonna do that. And there's no synergy between those things.
Right.
That comes across like, okay, you're just trying everything that's already going viral and hoping that it works for you, as
Mhm.
opposed to me seeing that you have a thought process behind what you're posting.
I love that. I feel like that's something that everyone kind of falls into when they first start making content is just like following
Yeah.
those trends. Cause I know I definitely did when TikTok came out and I feel like I felt gimmicky. And now that I've totally moved away from that and I will do trends if it applies to me, I feel
Yeah.
like, yeah, I feel so much less gimmicky. And honestly, I think a lot of it with like the gimmicky sense is mental in a lot of ways. Cause as you said, like
Yeah.
gimmicky things are blowing up because people are resonating with it. And so I feel like
Hmm.
for me, and just because I have conversations with other artists, I feel like there's such a hurdle for artists to really get over mentally of just like feeling confident and feeling like this isn't going to cross Mickey because like nobody else
Yeah.
has that anxiety that like you have when you go to post, like because you never look at yourself like how other people are going to look at you.
Exactly.
So
I
sometimes
mean,
I
you're your
feel like
hardest
it's
critic.
exactly. And it's just like, that you're kind of putting on a gimmick. Like we know a lot of times when there's a TikTok of someone sitting here with a mic just like this and like singing, we know they're not like actually singing. And so
Yeah.
maybe like you might feel like a little weird because you're just like lip singing in your room to your phone or whatever. But literally to like no one else, like, does it seem like
Yeah.
that?
They're just
Yeah.
enjoying the content. And
Hmm.
like, I think that that's really cool. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with the gimmicks or things like that. I just think that it, as long as you're intentional of what you're doing, it's fine.
Yeah.
The word gimmick, like you said, is just a mental block on us that we're putting on
Yeah.
ourselves.
Sometimes I do wonder if, like, because the gimmicky stuff does go viral sometimes. I am very curious to see, because I feel like these gimmicky content is almost more of like a newer thing with TikTok,
Hmm.
because it just wasn't always like that. So I am interested to see how it all plays out and if that gimmicky content that blows up off of the gimmick, if that has longevity or not. That's what I'm super intrigued to see.
I don't think it will, but I am intrigued to see as well, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's how I feel. So that's why it's like, okay, well, the gimmick works. But I feel like there's kind of just two avenues that you can choose to go as an artist. I think there's a quicker route, and then I think there's like a harder, more like authentic route of like building fans one by one instead of maybe building
Yeah,
like by like the thousands. And I don't think either way is wrong necessarily. I think it's just like
exactly.
tailored to the music you make and the goals that you have. Because like if you're making like kind of like party rap or something like that, like I think the gimmicky route is probably totally fine for you. But if you're kind of doing what the artist you're talking about is doing with like such personal songwriter type music, I think a gimmick would almost like cheapen the authenticity of
Yeah,
your art per se.
it takes away from the brand at that point, and like that's
Mhm.
the only time that it really is a problem. Like,
Yeah.
if your music fits in with the gimmicky vibe, like that is what you should do. Like, of course, you should optimize it and make it
Yeah.
work. But if you're a singer songwriter who just wants to blow up overnight, and so you're trying to throw your singer songwriter songs into these gimmicky trends, it's just going to look really poor and not work.
Absolutely. Because like a Young Gravy, I feel like is one that I kind of come to mind. Like his
Yeah,
name's Young Gravy. Like the
yeah,
gimmicky thing is, I feel like pretty on
exactly.
brand.
Yeah, and like that's totally fine. It depends what you're going for, and
Hmm.
it will be interesting to see like what sticks around. And sometimes I get sad thinking about, because I'm such a music fan,
Right.
and so I love listening to like music from like Aretha Franklin or Stevie
Ugh,
Wonder, and like
yes.
I see how those songs are still relevant today, and how that
Exactly.
sound is still like pioneering the sounds of today. I am worried that 20 years from now we'll look back at this time and not have much music that stands that test of time. Um, and that just makes me sad for music, thinking that.
Me
Like,
too.
are we erasing the history of music by doing things like this?
I think there's definitely a few year period that we're definitely going to have like a blackout of kind of that like
Yeah.
authenticity. Cause I feel like a lot of, in sessions that I've been in, what I've come across, and I actually talked about this on one of the episodes with Leland Grant that I had. He was in a session and I've been in sessions where they only want to do the first half of the song and they'll like be like, okay, well, if you post it and it goes off, like we can finish it then. Or like I had one producer ask me if like I wanted to wait to pay him to see like if we are gonna finish the song to see if it like went viral. And I was like, I don't know. I'm just kind of like traditionally minded. I'm like, well, I want to pay and finish the song and like
I want the
master it
song
because
regardless.
I want the
Yeah.
song. Like I love the song. Like I'm gonna put it out whether or not it gets like 3 million views overnight or something. And so I almost feel like we're losing some of that innovative and like timeless sound because we're cheating the song in a way because we're not even focused on the song. Like back in Aretha Franklin's time, it was more like, oh, we're making great music and then the rest of it
Yeah.
will come onto that. And now I feel like not everybody, but a lot of people are thinking more about the marketing at the same time as they're thinking about the song, which is smart in some
Yeah.
ways.
It's
But
smart,
yeah.
and it is what's happening right now, and it works. But I don't think it's going to last. It doesn't create longevity. It doesn't create timeless art. And I truly, I don't hate anything, but I truly do hate that it feels like we're creating art for an algorithm at this point. Like we
Yeah.
are not creating art for the sake of art. We're creating, like you said, snippets and feeding it into an algorithm. And if the algorithm so chooses, then we will finish it. And that is
Literally.
not okay with me.
Yeah,
We
it's a
cannot
lottery.
let the algorithms like dictate what art sounds like for this time period.
Amen.
I
Reach it.
respect all the artists that just like fight against that and want to be pioneers and understand that like maybe the music isn't going to hit the masses right now, but they're staying true to themselves and posting what they believe in.
Yeah.
Because I think a true artist will release a song that they believe in because they believe in it. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter what the algorithm thinks. Like that's
And
an artist to me.
yeah, I agree. And the right people will
And that's
find
yeah,
it.
exactly. The right people will find it, and I believe that we're going to be entering a renaissance period soon anyway when it comes to art. Um, and I'm hoping that that is going to be a great time for artists who create art for the sake of art, for them to flourish.
Absolutely. And I'm excited for that. I think it'll be amazing.
Yeah,
What are the biggest mistakes that you see artists make?
I
PR
think,
wise.
um, yeah, I think a lot of artists when they start working with publicists, they immediately want to jump to like we want to be on Rolling Stone, we want
Mhm.
to be on MTV. When Ellen show was up, my biggest ask was, "Can you get us on Ellen?" And the truth is, you don't want those things until you build up to them.
Okay,
You
yeah.
don't want to just start at the top and hope that you stick because if you don't, you may never get that chance to go back there.
Mhm.
Like you should build your way up with like starting with like the music blogs on like Hype Machine and just getting into like a site like Ear Milk and Ones to Watch and building this like support of genuine people that love you that want to see you thrive on a site like Billboard or on like Jimmy Fallon. Like that way, when you're on these top tier outlets, you know that you have a fan base that is supporting you, that's tuning in, that's clicking that article, that's showing these bigger outlets that you're someone they should continue to support. So many people I know will find a way to get like a one-time feature on like a billboard or something like that. Um, and then I'm like, okay, and did that do anything for you? Did the song blow up? Like, are you really happy with what happened there? Or would it have been better to get on 10 indie blogs that have a strong following of people that followed you and supported you and anticipated your next release?
Mm, facts. Facts. I feel like also just like putting your best foot forward with those people at like the Rolling Stone, like you said, like if it
Yeah.
flops and they don't get clicks, they don't get the interaction that they look for typically out of their articles, then next time they see your name come up, they're probably like, mm, I don't know about
Yeah,
that.
I mean, and that's the thing. Like, it's true. If it doesn't do well, there's a chance that they may choose not to cover you for a period of time or until they see more action or more response from fans. So
Mhm.
I always say build up to that. Like, I try to do a minimum of 3 month campaigns with my clients. And month one is always the groundwork. Month two, I say, is mid tier. And then month three, we start pitching the top tier outlets and we see what happens. We don't even know if we're going to land them, but at least we'll start those conversations
Yeah.
and get feedback to work towards securing those. And I've had clients on the Ellen Show, and I've had clients on Billboard and Rolling Stone, and it happens when it's meant to happen, and it does well when it does. But I've also been on the other side of that, where I placed a client on a really big outlet, and it wasn't the right time, and we got no traction from there was
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah. Don't force it. I see.
Yeah,
Have you found that with this new virality of music, have you found that there's a new PR issue with trying to make sure that the artist like face and name goes along with their viral song?
absolutely. I think that it's so much easier for a song to go viral than for an artist to go viral. Um, and I don't think that that's a bad thing, but I think that artists should be aware of that and decide what they want first.
Mhm.
Um, if you want to have your song go viral, that's easier to do than if you want to be an artist who's going to stick around and people recognize you. Um, I think that that answer is something that is still kind of being shaped right now because all of this is so new.
Mhm.
Um, but I've seen a couple artists do a decent job at like taking a viral TikTok and turning it into a really nice career for them where all of their songs are supported. And they do that by once that first song goes viral, being super personable with their fans, responding to those comments, DMing them, having like little like Zoom sessions with fans and like meeting with them and really putting a face to who they are. And I
Mhm.
think that's the biggest thing that you can do.
Okay.
Is if you have a song go viral, show those people how grateful you are for that. Spend time with them, connect with them, comment on their Instagrams, give them a follow, like their pictures, share
Right.
their fan art, share their comments. Show them what you're like in the studio, bring them in, go live, like really make it known that like, wow, I'm really grateful that you did this for my song. This is who I am.
Right.
Be a part of my world if you want.
I love that, like, just really putting in the work, and I feel like
Yeah,
it's almost I feel like that takes a very humble person as well to just be like, "Yo, like, these people are," because really the fans
yeah.
are the most important people, like, in your lives at
The
that
most
point, because
important
those are the
part, yeah.
people making it go for you, and also, I have a
Mhm.
Discord thing, I think my fans I call them, like, friends,
Yeah,
I think they're
I
hilarious.
I love that. Like I love when artists connect with their followers on Discord. I like hate the word fans.
I
I
know, me
always switch to
too.
like listeners or
Yeah.
followers. Like supporters is a better word, but
Supporters,
like
yeah, I like supporters.
connecting with them on Discord is such an amazing thing because it just puts like a person behind the song and like behind the artist and like it really just personifies it and makes it feel more realistic than just like my song went viral and I'm so cool now and like I want you to do it again. Which I've seen that happen too, where
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like
me too.
and I don't blame them for that. If your song is getting 50 million streams on Spotify and it went viral on TikTok and it's everywhere, like, of course you're going to be like, oh, I must be the best. Like, this is so amazing. But try to not do that. Like, try to be more
Definitely don't
personable.
do that. And I feel
Yeah,
like don't get too
that's,
big for your britches. Like I feel like one viral song is like not like the golden ticket you might think it is if you don't put in that
it's
work.
not.
Yeah, and follow
It
up and
really
have that
isn't.
background.
Like, I think I think anyone in the world can have a viral song, to be honest. I think that and now there is a chance for anyone in the world to do that with the way that like
Exactly, yeah.
TikTok works. So having one doesn't necessarily mean that you are this incredible like recording artist and songwriters going down in history. It means you hit the algorithm right, and that's okay. That's
It's
an
a kind of an
incredible thing.
opportunity. It's an
Yeah,
opportunity to
that should
show
be the
them,
start.
yeah, the other 12 hit songs that you have. And if you don't have those other 12 hit
Exactly.
songs immediately, you're kind of
You're
outsies.
gone. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we've seen huge artists. I'm talking artists like that go completely viral, like mainstream, that have the biggest song of the year in like 2020 or so, and then like you don't hear from them after that. And they had hits after that too. But
Yeah,
it's not easy to stick around. It really isn't. And I
yeah.
don't know if we're in a place in music where we will have another superstar right now. Like I don't know if like Billie Eilish was the last one that we'll have for a while, but like
Mhm.
I don't know. Like, I just don't know when we see another Beyonce, Rihanna, Katy Perry,
Hoping to
like
be
Justin
her.
Bieber.
I'm
Yeah, there
advanced.
literally. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I don't even know if that's what people want right now, though.
I
Like, I
know,
don't know if they
yeah.
want that type of superstar
Yeah,
because
true.
that's a whole different kind of PR. That's the unattainable,
Exactly.
like persona. Like, you can't get in touch with Beyonce if you wanted to.
And I feel like that's such a difference. Like when I got into the industry, it was all about mystique and kind of,
Hmm.
being that mysterious person because that's how celebrities were. And now I literally saw I have this tweet popping off right now. It's got like 50,000 likes or something because it was Megan Trainor talking about like I don't even want to say it. It was some TMI stuff that like her doctor don't even need to know. And
Okay.
I just tweeted back this picture and it said we should all know less about each other
Yeah,
because I'm like, oh
literally.
my God.
I think there's like a fine line, and I love that we can connect with like people who inspire us. I think that that's
Yeah,
amazing. But I think social media is a good boundary for that. Like seeing Beyonce post is fine for me. I don't need to like know more about Beyonce.
yeah.
Um, but it's become a thing where people expect it now. So it's like,
Mhm.
and I know that's contradictory to what I'm saying, like started Discord and things like that, but that's just the nature of the game right now.
Yeah,
Um,
it changes.
I truly preferred it the other way, I think, like more
Me too.
traditional. Um, because these celebrities are supposed to be like essentially like real life superheroes, if you want to say it that way. They're people
Literally.
that you're supposed to look up to. I love your music. You're this, you're that. You're inspiring me in this way. They
Yeah.
shouldn't be someone that you can just call up and like,
Just
hey, Rihanna, like I just need some advice on this. It's like no, listen to the music. I put out this brand. I've done this thing.
Yeah.
Take what you can from that and move on. It's an entertainment product essentially.
I think it was healthier for artists and fans more so that
Yeah,
way. Plus, there was like not this, artists aren't just like perfect people. Like people who make
yeah,
music aren't just amazing, perfect, flawless
exactly.
human beings. And I feel like people can get so like discouraged when they like learn so much about a person and they're like, oh, like, I don't know, it's almost like that like
I
shininess has gone away.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm like, no, this person is their job is to make music. That's
Yeah.
all. That's the only thing that sets them apart. And people love their music, and now they're this figure that people look up to, and that's great. But like, they are not perfect people. They are just like you and I, and we are all flawed. And if all of my flaws were exposed on social media, I would hate that. Like, that would be
Yeah.
terrible.
They're also not politicians. Like,
Yeah, that's very true. I think there should be some regulations on that, but
no,
that's another
literally.
conversation.
I'm always like, why? Like, I feel like I'm just always gonna like
Yeah.
not say anything. No one needs to know my opinions on like anything. I'm just keeping
No,
it to
like, no
myself.
one needs to know that at all. Like, you shouldn't be looking up to these people for
Yeah.
political
And I
advice.
don't
Like,
know things like
there's
I'm not into political science. Like, yeah, girl,
yeah, I'm not yeah, I know what works for me and the people around me, and that doesn't need
literally.
to be shared with everyone else. Like, I don't think that
Absolutely.
people I don't care how great you think I am, please never ask me for political advice. Like, that is not something I'm an expert in, that is not something that I should be giving advice in. You
Agreed.
wouldn't ask me to, like, come do surgery on you, so don't ask me about something that I'm not, like, educated on.
Exactly. Period. Period. What do you feel like have you found like a secret sauce with the algorithm?
I like to what I like to do with all my clients, to be honest, is post like a week in a row,
Okay.
different kinds of content at different hours of the day, and then check the analytics for every single post and see what performed the best.
Okay.
Find out where it performed the best, when it performed the best,
Writing this down.
and then no, literally, and then I do a week of targeting just that, and I
Okay.
run like a $20 ad on it and see if it hits in a certain way. So I've been able to pinpoint what works for specific clients based off testing,
Just
like
that.
A/B testing.
That's so
Um,
smart.
and so that's kind of for me what works best with the algorithm. I also think there's little secrets that like people now know because of social media and things like that. But like posting on your Instagram story and then going away for a few days and then posting again on your Instagram story boosts your engagement a lot.
Okay.
Um, and so that is a good thing to do. And then just trying to vary your content. Like I think a lot of people are afraid to like not do well on social media. And I think
Yeah.
that the only way to do well is to not do well first. Like
Mm,
you have to
love
just
it.
see what works for you.
You got to fail to succeed.
Yeah, don't be ashamed if it gets 50 views. Who cares? Like it doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
just see what's working and see what you like creating primarily. Like
Mm.
if you get 1 million views on a video that you hate creating that kind of content, is it really worth it for you to do that? Like,
I actually have a full story on that. I've had a few videos get like 1.6 million views because I made 3 of them and they all went viral and they're all the same stupid concept that I didn't want to keep making. It was like record yourself before and after Googling this, and it was like some outrageous fact.
okay.
And so I would just get like 1.5 million views and like a bunch of comments and everything. And then I was like, well, this isn't my brand. Like, I
Yeah.
don't want to
And
do this.
yeah, and like it's cool that it went viral and that's awesome, but like you will find ways of viral doing things that you love as well.
Yeah.
And so I think that's another kind of piece of advice there is like don't let the numbers like hook you just because of numbers. Like make sure
Yeah.
you're actually passionate about it.
I feel like I had another one of that. My song, it was for my song, which was amazing. I got this video, got like 700,000 views on TikTok, and ended up having like 3,000 videos made to the sound. And it was like, oh, if you play this sound, like your soulmate will text you. And so then I was just making a bunch of videos like that. And it's bullshit. And I didn't like
Yeah.
posting bullshit every day.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, I just felt so fake. So I enjoyed my little moment, but I will not be doing that kind of content again. It definitely worked, but it was working off just a premise that I wasn't
Yeah.
feeling. Yeah. But
Which I think is really cool of you to like recognize that and be
yeah,
like, this isn't for me and reroute. Like I think that
yeah.
It was awesome.
I did try to make it cool. I was like, oh, comment like your crush's name and I'll put it on my Spotify canvas. So I literally just had like a bunch of people's names like on my Spotify canvas because I was trying to get people to like go to my Spotify and actually
Yeah.
listen to the song, not just the sound. So I tried to make it cool, but I
Hmm.
appreciated the moment and I'm just not going to do it again.
Yeah. Yeah. You figure out what works. I think that's
Yeah.
like the best thing to do.
Is there a iconic PR move that is like your favorite that sticks with you?
Like one that I witnessed or one that I've been a part of.
Let's do the one that you've been a part of.
Um, I don't want to say names, but
You don't have to.
I had a client date
Okay.
uh, another person who had just broken off their engagement with like a very popular recording artist. Um, and so literally my client just found herself in the studio with this guy and he had just broken off his engagement or she broke it off with him. I forget the exactly details, but it was all in the media and they just went out to hang out with a bunch of friends. There was nothing more to it. And paparazzi like took pictures of them out together.
Amazing.
And the next morning, the three of us got on a call and we were like, okay, call TMZ, call E. And so we called all these outlets. We had E News like report this huge thing that like he had started dating a new girl already.
Obsessed.
TMZ picked it up, Daily Mail, Cosmopolitan, like every outlet you could think of was talking about this. And this happened. We kept it going for like 2 weeks and it was just hilarious. Like we were cracking up every single day about it. Like they would be like, "What's the latest? Like what's the quote?" And we're like, they haven't seen each other. Like this is a one-time thing that. So we had them like get together again just for more pictures to be
Oh my
taken.
gosh.
And like I said, we did it for like 2 weeks, and it that kind of PR is hard to keep going. That's why I'm like when I see this like Sydney Sweeney thing, I'm like, good for them because it's hard to keep that going. And it just ended up crumbling on us, which is totally fine. We had a great run with it. Like we
Yeah.
loved it, nothing like bad, like backfired or anything like that. It just eventually came out that my client was dating someone else. And so like page six reported that like this was like not a real thing. And we were just cracking up about
Oh
it.
my
And I think
gosh.
that's one of my favorite like PR moments I've been a part of.
I love that. Did you get like the other person on board with it?
Yeah. Wait,
Love
no,
it.
like the
Oh, yeah, like the person who
which
had just
one?
broken up with someone, the other artist.
Oh yeah, yeah. He was like
Okay,
totally
good.
down. Like we were on three-way calls together, like literally
Love
figuring this
it.
out. It was amazing.
You are like a
So
little
that
evil
was
mastermind. I like it.
no, I know it's so ridiculous, and that's why I'm like that PR is fun, but I can do it like maybe once every 2 years because it is so draining and like it really is like the movies at that point. Like my phone was nonstop ringing and it was like, "Hi, this is so and so from TNZ. Hi, we're from People," and I'm just like, "Oh my god, this." I'm used to like putting like people on like J14 magazine, like not
That's
dealing
so
with
fun.
this.
I love
But it
that.
was really fun. And
That
then
sounds
an
really
iconic
fun.
PR move that I wasn't a part of that's recent just because I feel like I have to mention this. Rihanna like plugging Fenty at the Super Bowl was
Yes.
iconic and like she did it so effortlessly and everyone talked about it and it wasn't self-indulgent. It wasn't like corny. Like it was the coolest thing
Tasteful.
that she just came out and just did. It was like, okay, like this is why you're
Queen.
Rihanna. This is why you're at the Super Bowl right now.
Facts. I screamed when I saw that because I was like, businesswoman, let's go.
Yeah. I was like, all right, that's one of the best PR moves I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, no, me too. And I
And it
saw
was
that her
so
like
simple and
SEO.
subtle.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh my God, her SEO was crazy after that.
Insane.
Like, I aspire to work that type of campaign. And it's so simple, but
Literally.
like it was really elegant. I would say
It
that's an elegant
was.
PR to like plug your own product. Like
It
that's
was
crazy.
perfect. I'm glad you mentioned that because same. That's my
Yeah,
favorite.
love that. I was obsessed with that.
Love, obsessed. So the last thing we're gonna do, I want to play a game. Are you down?
I'm down. Let's do it.
I wrote down all these questions like 2 weeks ago, so we're gonna surprise myself. Um,
Okay.
this is put a finger down if, and I don't know if I wrote the right amount of questions, so we're just gonna see who has
Let's just see what
less
happens. We'll
fingers
wing
up.
it.
All right, we got 10 fingers up. Put a finger down if your screen time is over 4 hours a day.
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. Put a finger down if you have more than 10,000 photos on your phone.
On my phone or in my cloud on my phone.
In the cloud, because same.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I pay for that like 2 terabyte storage.
Oh my God, I have the highest storage. I have like 3 clouds. I'm on iCloud, Amazon Photos, and Google Cloud. Like it's
Yeah,
so
I got Dropbox and iCloud, and I'm like, all right,
yeah, it's terrible.
definitely. Okay, put a finger down if you have more than 5,000 songs saved.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. Put a finger down if you've been to a music festival this year.
I have not.
All right, I have. I went to one a few weeks ago. It was small, but still a festival. Okay,
Still counts.
I can't believe I wrote this. Put a finger down if that Ice Spice line, "He say that I'm good enough, grabbing my da-da-da," gets stuck in your head weekly, possibly daily.
I would at least once a week because I feel
Yeah,
like I see it everywhere or hear it. So yeah,
literally.
it's just
I'm just
like the
walking around my house. I'm like, grabbing my
it's an
da-da-da.
intrusive thought at this point.
No,
It's like
literally, Ice
like
Spice is
where are you
intrusive.
coming from? That's like
Absolutely.
viral music. Yeah.
Absolutely. Put a finger down if you forget to wear your earplugs to concerts.
Always.
I'm guilty. Yeah. Put a finger down if you've made a playlist for someone you've dated. Oh, damn, I'm a romantic. What can I say? Um, no, I'm not. Put a finger down if you get invested in celebrity relationships. I hate to say it, I do. I
I
do.
do.
I
I'm
know it's
really into
fake, but I
them.
do. Or even if it's
No,
not
I'm
fake,
so
it's
into
not as
them.
good as you think it is.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm guilty of that.
Put a finger down if you don't reply to text, but you're doom scrolling on TikTok.
Yes.
Facts, facts. Okay, I've got one finger left. Oh my gosh. Put a finger down if you've gotten wrapped up in someone's internet drama you've never met and gone down a black hole of all of their videos.
I do
That's
that every day.
yeah.
Like every day. Oh my God, I have two left.
Okay, I put down all my fingers, but we'll ask the last
Okay.
two. Okay, put a finger down if you've ever broken a sweat trying to learn a TikTok dance. Yeah, they're
Yeah, I'm embarrassed to admit it, but yeah, I
yeah,
feel like everyone tried to learn the renegade dance at one point.
literally.
Like everyone did that. And then the say
Absolutely.
so one is just
Oh,
so fun. Like you have to do that.
I forget what
And
is
then
that?
like I just know it's like, it's
Literally, that's all I've got right now.
all I know is embarrassing to admit. I play Fortnite and
Okay.
all of the like TikTok dances are in Fortnite. So of course
I
I'm
didn't
learning
know
them
that.
while you're like yeah, so of course I'm learning them.
Okay, I need to play Fortnite just so I can learn the dance.
Just do the dances in there. It's
Yeah.
fun.
Okay, and put a finger down if you've ever liked your ex's new boyfriend or girlfriend's old post.
No, I cut people off fast. I'm
Oh,
easy.
pop
Cut
off. Well,
off,
you beat me
done.
then. You beat me. You
Ooh,
won. Put a
by
finger down.
barely,
By,
barely.
by the pinky. Holding on
Holding
by
on by
the
a
pinky.
thread, literally.
Literally. I'm glad we were both pretty equal on that because I was writing this. I was like,
Yeah, that was
oh,
great. No,
exposing
no,
myself.
we're literally the same when it came to that.
I know. I should have put a finger down if you only listen to true crime and reality
Oh
TV.
my gosh, I was like 10 fingers down
Yeah,
because that's
all
I
of them
watched
down at
10 a day
once.
probably.
Literally amazing. Do you have anything you would like to plug before we sign off?
Um, yeah, just check out my PR firm. We are JPPR Relations on
Okay,
Instagram.
I'll
And
put
you can
that
find
link.
me awesome. And you can find me at John Panichella on Instagram. And we have a lot of great clients. I'm more wanting to plug them. So please go give them all a follow, check out their music and what they're working on. I get to work with some of the most talented people in the world, and I'm super grateful for that. And I was grateful to be a part of here and working with you in the past. So this is really exciting and full circle for me. So thank you so much for having me and wanting me to be a part of this.
Of course. Thank you so much for coming on. I feel like this is one of my favorite interviews. I had a great time
I
talking to
love that.
you.
Thank you. I cannot wait to check it out.
Well, it'll be out next week. So just
Okay,
letting you
perfect.
know, we're
Perfect.
quick on the turnaround right now.
Amazing. I love that.
Well, thank you so much for your time today, and I hope you have an amazing afternoon.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thank
I'm sure
you.
we'll talk soon.
Absolutely. Stay groovy.
Bye.